Be it the lush green mountains in the north, the bustling metropolis of the center, or the pristine beaches of the south. One thing that remains ubiquitous across the entirety of Thailand is the Thai script. Used for administrative, religious, and symbolic purposes, this has indeed become a source of great national pride and a symbol of modern Thai identity. This, however, was not always the case. Let's rewind the clock a little back in time, when the socio-cultural and the political aspects of the land were not as rigidly defined. Back then, the map of mainland Southeast Asia was pretty different from what it is now, when local kingdoms and principalities dominated the local politics and governance. The northeastern part of Thailand back then was home to a beautiful script developed specifically for the Thai Isan languages of the region, the Thai Noi script. One of the most interesting features of this writing system was the simplification of Pali Sanskrit spellings into a more phonetic Thai form. Take a look at this signage, for instance. It says Si'i Ubon Ratanaram Museum. Now, museum in Thai is pronounced Pipithapan, but the spelling is adjusted or designed in such a way that it resembles Sanskrit Vividhabhanda. However, if you look at the Thai Noi script, the spelling pronunciation mismatch disappears, making it more phonetic. This script thrived from the early 1500s to the late 1800s until solidification of power in central Siam, when the local languages and script were replaced by the Thai language and the Thai writing system. Although the script died out in Thailand, it did survive in the neighboring Laos, where it evolved into the modern-day Lao script, which consequently, as you can observe, shows similar characteristics of Sanskrit spelling simplification. So it's safe to say that the Lao script came from the Thai Noi script, but the roots of Thai Noi itself can be traced back to an ancient script used in the Lanna kingdom of northern Thailand, the Phak Kham script. Although people usually associate Lanna with the Mon family of scripts, these were mostly confined to religious works, and Phak Kham was the primary script used for administration in the northern kingdoms. The characters in the script were elongated and more angular, with visible tails extending above and below the main writing line. Hence it acquired the name Phak Kham, which means tamarind parts in Thai. A legend goes that the script was first introduced into the Lanna kingdom by a religious mission from Sukhothai. This was the first independent Thai kingdom established by King Indraditya, and the script used here was the Sukhothai script. So let's try and put everything together now. Lao script came from Thai Noi script, which came from Phak Kham script, which indeed came from the Sukhothai script, which again is the ancestor of the modern Thai script. Believed to be the brainchild of great King Ramkhamhaeng, this script was revolutionary at that time, as it was the first to introduce tone markers to indicate distinctive tones. Earliest example of Thai being written down indeed comes from the Ramkhamhaeng inscription of 1292 that uses the Sukhothai script, and this is where archaeological evidence of written Thai comes to a dead end. So Thai language today is written in the modern Thai script. It used to be written in the Phak Kham script and in the Sukhothai script. Now ideally the journey of Thai script should end with Sukhothai, but there's a lot more to the story than what really meets the eye, and this is where things start getting controversial. There used to be a writing system that existed almost parallelly to the Sukhothai script, the Khmer Thai script. So what does Khmer mean? Khmer, for all practical purposes, means Khmer. Before the advent of the Thais, much of what is mainland Southeast Asia was influenced by the Khmer Empire and its Hindu-Buddhist culture. And hence, the old Khmer language and the script dominated the landscape back then. It is generally accepted that the Thais adopted the ancient Khmer script with certain modifications to write the Thai language, and this came to be known as the Khmer Thai script, the knowledge of which was almost exclusive to the Thai Brahmin communities. This script was considered sacred, and it enjoyed a status similar to what Siddham script has in Mahayana Buddhism. It was used primarily for writing religious texts and designing the Thai yantra tattoos. Now, this script declined in usage primarily because of the Thaification policies of the government in Bangkok that heavily promoted the Thai writing systems to write the Thai, Pali, and the Sanskrit languages. and hence the Thai Com script today remain mostly symbolic. So both of the ancient Thai scripts, the Sukhothai and the Com Thai, trace their roots back to the old Khmer script. Although the Ramkhamhaeng inscription is the oldest surviving relic of written Thai, it's not the oldest inscription per se. There's plenty of evidence of old Khmer script being inscribed all across present-day Lao, Thai, Khmer, and Viet territories. Khmer inscriptions attest to the existence of different types of ancient literatures in the kingdom: scientific, historical, and most importantly, religious. Now, interestingly, the primary language of most of the religious inscriptions was not Old Khmer, but Sanskrit, that was revered as the language of the gods. Sanskrit inscriptions here demonstrate a flourishing state of Sanskrit learning and exhibit knowledge of different meters with developed poetic conventions of rhetoric and prosody. A few inscriptions referring to the Buddhist corpus have also been found in Pali when it replaced Sanskrit as the sacred language. So preceding the Sukhothai, we had the Old Khmer script dominating the 10th century. But this wasn't the only writing system of that time. Before the Khmers, the land much of what is now present-day Thailand was home to the Mon Dwaravati culture. Now, opinions are divided whether this was a continuous kingdom or a loose collection of smaller city-states. But one thing is for sure though, the Dwaravatis have contributed enormously in shaping the modern Thai culture. According to the most accepted theory, the Thais arriving from southern China since the beginning of the 5th century assimilated into the existing Mons, who had probably received their culture from the times of Emperor Ashoka, and later the Hindu-Buddhist Khmers, with further Indianization taking place through the South Indian Pallavas and the North Indian Guptas. Inscriptions written in Old Mon script have been found all over Thailand and Myanmar, and majority of them being religious in nature, revere Sanskrit and Pali as the sacred languages, meanwhile also attesting to the fact that Old Mon was in fact the language of the masses. And it's the Old Mon script that's certainly the precursor to most northern Thai writing systems like Thai Tham Lanna, Thai Home, Thai Le, and so on. Almost all of these writing systems have died out in Thailand today, with the only exception of Thai Tham Lanna, that again barely manages a religious and symbolic survival. Nevertheless, Old Mon holds a significant position in the history of Southeast Asian writing systems, and some experts also tend to believe that the Sukhothai family of scripts show a significant Old Mon influence in addition to Old Khmer. However, the roots of both of these writing systems can undeniably be traced back to South Indian Pallava script, which is considered to be the ancestor of almost all writing systems in Southeast Asia. Named after the great Pallava dynasty of South India, which along with other coastal Indian kingdoms dominated the Southeast Asian maritime trade and commerce, the script quickly spread throughout Southeast Asia, taking various forms as we see today. A close examination of these scripts further reveal heavy dependency on Indic design features that haven't really changed much from the original source. Number of inscriptions have been found all over mainland Southeast Asia from Myanmar to Vietnam, where the Pallava script was used to write all of the ancient regional languages including Old Khmer, Old Mon, Old Cham, along with the sacred languages like Sanskrit and Pali. Coming back to the original question, what really is the oldest inscription in Thailand? Now, to answer this question, I tried to scan through the Thai inscriptions database, where I found almost a dozen Pallava inscriptions from the 7th century CE, but most of them did not provide a specific date. Oldest evidence of writing in Cambodia, however, is the Angkor Borai inscription of 611 CE, written in Old Khmer using the Pallava script. And the earliest evidence of writing in Vietnam and all of Southeast Asia is the Vo Can inscription of Cham Empire that is believed to be dated around 250 CE. Now, unsurprisingly, the language of the inscription here is Sanskrit, but there isn't a consensus on the script used here. Expert opinions tend to vary from an early form of Pallava to North Indian Gupta or Kushana scripts. Nevertheless, this inscription gives a concrete proof of what definitely is one of the first waves of Indianization of Southeast Asia. So the Pallava script is the source of all South Indian and Southeast Asian writing systems, but Pallava itself evolved from what is considered to be the mother of all Abhagidas, the Brahmi script. Almost all of the writing systems in the Indosphere part of Asia, from Tibet to Mongolia and Philippines, can ultimately be traced back to Brahmi script. Even the Korean alphabet, that is considered to be the most unique and innovative in the world, is believed to have been influenced by Brahmi through Fakspa script. But this theory remains largely debated. Today, the word Brahmi has become synonymous with Emperor Ashoka, and rightly so, as the earliest undeniable evidence of writing in India are the Ashokan edicts of 260 BCE written in the Brahmi script. Now, these edicts are found all across ancient India that was once a part of the great Mauryan Empire, stretching from Afghanistan in the west to Bengal in the east. Interestingly, the language of these edicts was not Sanskrit, that was the prestige language, but Prakrits, which were the local vernaculars of the regions under Mauryan rules. These edicts mainly revolve around the themes of Ashokan ideas of administration, social behavior, and religion, extensively depicting Ashoka's conversion to Buddhism and his efforts to spread the religion far and wide. It is largely agreed that Buddhism today might not have been a major world religion without Emperor Ashoka. Although Brahmi is the oldest form of writing in India, it's not the oldest literature per se, and that title would go to the Rig Veda. The Rig Veda is a collection of Vedic hymns which were composed around 1500 BCE and passed down orally, generation to generation, with astounding precision and ingenious techniques. Experts believe that listening to a Vedic hymn today would be as good as listening to a tape recording from 1500 years ago. Nevertheless, this does not qualify as a writing system. So for all practical purposes, the journey of the Thai script comes to a full stop with the Brahmi, as this is where concrete archaeological and linguistic evidence ends and the realm of conjectures and speculations begin. So what's the origin of the Brahmi script? The correct answer to this is, we simply do not know. However, there are many theories that have been proposed explaining the origin of Brahmi, but none of them enjoy a universal consensus. The first theory is that Brahmi came from the Aramaic script, which in fact came from the Egyptian hieroglyphs. The second theory states that Brahmi is a completely novel innovation in writing. And the third theory states that Brahmi in fact descended from the Indus Valley script. So we'll look at each of these theories and try and understand the arguments here, perhaps after which you might be in a position to form your own well-informed opinion on the matter. So the first theory, Brahmi came from Aramaic and hence Egypt. Now Aramaic was the lingua franca of the great Persian Achaemenid Empire, which stretched from Egypt in the west to Indus Valley in the east. The empire eventually fell to Alexander the Great in 330 BCE, and the later Greek states of northwestern India were eventually conquered by Chandragupta Maurya, with Indo-Yavana war marriage alliances being formed and great cultural exchanges taking place. Emperor Ashoka hence ruled over a large Greek Aramaic-speaking population in inheritance. It is also speculated that Ashoka himself was at least 1/4 Greek. Some of his edicts in northwestern India have actually been written in Aramaic and Greek. While uncontested Brahmi dates back to about 260 BCE, Aramaic is much older, about 500 BCE. Another observation comes from Megasthenes, the Greek ambassador to the court of Sandrokotos or Chandragupta, who describes Indians as regulating entirely by memory and having no written laws. Also, the Indian word for scripts or writing, that is lipi, seems to be an old Persian loanword, dipi. So given all of these arguments, it's generally concluded that Indians were well acquainted with the Aramaic when they invented Brahmi, and no other script existed before that. And hence there exists physical similarities between the two as shown in the picture. Now the opponents of this theory like to argue that the pictographic resemblance completely fails to explain the vast differences between the two scripts. While Aramaic is somewhere between Abjad and alphabet, Brahmi is an Abhagida, which is a completely new form of writing. Aramaic tends to follow a seemingly random order, but Brahmi characters are very logically arranged in a 5x5 grid resembling the map of the mouth. This indeed is supposed to have been based on the works of ancient Indian grammarians, particularly Panini, who is considered to be the father of linguistics. It's generally agreed that oral transmission of Vedic hymns could be possible, but a highly complex and technical literature like Panini's Ashtadhyayi being composed and not written seems unlikely, which tends to suggest that some form of writing system existed before Ashokan Brahmi. Now, they also tend to argue that Ashokan edicts of Gandhara that used the Greek and the Aramaic scripts wrote the Greek and the Aramaic language, not Sanskrit or Prakrit. Now, how is this argument relevant? So we have undisputed evidence that some form of Khmer writing system has been used to write the Thai language, and the Thai script evolved out of it. We have similar evidence that suggests some form of Pallava script was used to write the Khmer language, and the Khmer script evolved out of it. So do we have evidence that suggests some form of Aramaic being used to write Prakrit or Sanskrit, and hence Brahmi evolving out of it? Well, the answer is no, but we have Sanskrit and Prakrit being written in the Kharosti script, which again is speculated to be a descendant of Aramaic script. So even if this is considered to be true, the differences between Kharosti and Brahmi seem to be way larger than the similarities between the two. Observations of Megasthenes are also considered unreliable and self-contradictory. While he talks about oral administration in Chandragupta's court, he also talks about a regular custom of Brahmins to submit anything important in writing that is committed to the kings. Nearchus, a contemporary Greek officer decades ago, describes the use of cotton fabrics for writing in northern India, and opinions remain divided whether this was Brahmi or Aramaic or Kharosti. While one section of the opponents of the Aramaic theory regard Brahmi as a brand new invention, others like to add that Brahmi was in fact just an evolution from the much older Indus Valley script. Now, the Indus Valley civilization was an ancient civilization on the banks of the Sindhu-Saraswati rivers that was contemporaneous with the Egyptian and the Mesopotamian civilizations, except it was much larger in size and population than both the formers combined. However, this civilization was mysteriously modern, urbanized, and unique in the sense that it showed no existence of a god king or temples or palaces, but it left behind intricately designed cities and urban centers with a state-of-the-art drainage system. This is also believed to be the possible birthplace of yoga and the earliest prototype of what should have been a democratic system of governance way before the Romans. What makes this civilization even more mysterious is its script. A collection of 400 signs and symbols have been found in small clay seals, pottery, and copper tablets. However, all attempts at deciphering the script remain unsuccessful in the absence of a bilingual or a trilingual inscription, and the existing scripts being very short. Hence, people tend to argue that this in fact is not a writing system representing a spoken language at all. But this theory for the origin of Brahmi has gained recent popularity with the Anuradhapura and Kiradi excavations in South India, which uncovered Brahmi inscriptions from 800 BCE, predating Ashokan times. And interestingly, these inscriptions show similarities with the Indus Valley script and supposed intermediate Indus Brahmi forms. Now, this has led some experts to believe that the Tamil Brahmi script of southern India, which was previously considered a descendant of Ashokan Brahmi, might in fact be the precursor to it, and just an evolution of the Indus Valley script. But as of now, all the claims remain challenged and much debated. So coming back to the million-dollar question, what is the origin of the Thai script? Is it the Egyptian hieroglyphs? Is it the Indus Valley script? Is it the Brahmi script? Or is it the Khmer script? Well, that's really up to you to decide. One thing is absolutely certain though, The Thai script has come a really long way from wherever it might have begun, and it really belongs to the people of Thailand and no one else.